I'm bad at this by myself. I feel lost without Mark. He'll be down in a minute. Happy Friday, guys. Welcome to the Friday Bean. Let me know if you can hear me correctly. We are going to be having a jam-packed live stream today. We're going to be going through all the tools on eRank. I think that it's past due that we do something like this simply because so many of you reach out to me and say that you are unfamiliar with a lot of the tools, or sometimes I'll show off a tool during one of our live streams and you guys will be like, oh, I had no idea that existed. Let's see. Hello, hi, can hear you. Okay, good. So mic check. Hello. We've got a boom mic up here. Anyway, so I want to start going through them maybe maybe once a year, because we add new tools all the time. We have a couple new tools over at eRank that you guys might not even be aware of. Our team at eRank has become so efficient that tools get rolled out, rolled out all the time. And I don't even always know when we have a new tool being launched. Sometimes, Pam and I will sit down for Thursday Q&A. And she'll be like, oh, by the way, we launched this tool and we need to talk about it today. And I will have had no idea. So they get sprung on me. Even as a manager at eRank, a lot of the tools that we create are things that we work on for months and months and months. For example, we've been refining things like our keyword tool for years. Ever since I've, worked for eRank, we've been working on the keyword tool and perfecting it. But then there are some tools that don't take as much work to roll out, and Anthony will just go ahead and launch them. For example, our health check tool, that was one that I proposed. I said it would be really cool to have just a little quick health check of all the things that, can be done for an Etsy listing that might be going wrong with an Etsy listing. And that tool got, launched within, I think, like 2 weeks of me saying, hey, this would be a cool idea. So just depends on the tool, the complexity of the tool, and what our development team is able to do. But if you're new here, for those who aren't aware, I'm a manager at eRank. So, if you feel behind and feel like you never know, what all of these tools do, just don't worry. There are even times when I have to poke around, and sometimes I even meet with Anthony. But we want to make sure that when it comes to things like that, that's a red flag, obviously. If I can't figure out how to use it, then we typically know that that's a point where we need to make sure that we are adding better clarification of how those tools work, which is where people like me and Pam Duffy come in. But anyway, there he is. There's Mr. Moore.
It's funny, I haven't done my mustache since before our vacation. Look how freaking long this thing.
You look like a cowboy.
I do look like a cowboy.
You look like
I need to trim it.
You didn't change our lights. They're still set from...
I did that because today's an eRank stream.
Oh, okay.
I did that on purpose.
You didn't turn our eRank light on in the back.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Don't worry about it.
I have to do everything. It's fine.
I don't know how.
It's fine. I do everything.
I don't know how to do it. So I do have a couple announcements to make real quick. Mr. Moore wasn't aware of that, so he didn't have everything pulled up. Mr. Moore.
Oh, I need to turn this light down for streams.
Oh, okay. Am I really bright?
Extremely.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quick because I have a couple fun announcements. Is Christina here in the chat? So I wanted to let you guys know, especially since, during Critique Week, one of the main things that we discussed were photos. A lot of the people that we critiqued, one of the main critiques I made was your product photography. And because of that, I wanted to shout out that Christina Nicole's Light Challenge is going to be taking place. It's next week, right, Christina? Next week it's taking place. So you have until Sunday to sign up for this. It's only $47. It is so worth it. I highly recommend taking it. It's a 5-day challenge. You get pre-recorded videos, and Christina basically walks you through the process of evaluating your current lighting situation for your product photography, diagnosing the problems that you might have with your lighting, and she also helps you to improve your lighting. And then you have the opportunity to ask her questions. So if you don't have the money to pay for a big honkin' photography course, this will be just enough to get you through for the holiday season. This is going to help you up your photography game. I did ask her if she had any good before and after photos of people who have taken the course, or the challenge. And I mean, look at the difference. They are absolutely fantastic. So there is a link to this challenge down below. You only have until Sunday to sign up for it, so make sure you do that right away if you're planning to participate. The videos are all pre-recorded, so you don't need to worry about showing up at a specific time. You can watch them on your own time. And I believe you can download them. Christina, can you download them? Are you able to download the videos? But anyway, the photos are before and after. Definitely consider doing it if you are worried about the holiday season, or if you know that photos are something that you struggle with. And this was just a little blurb from her website. As a result of this live 5-day challenge, you are going to learn how to evaluate the natural light available to you, diagnose any problems, and create a cure no matter what the season, time, or of day, or weather conditions, so you can end your fight with natural light forever. And I actually took this program the first year that we started discussing it. God, it's been like, what, 2 years now, Christina, I think. And it was night and day for my product photos for Books and Cold Brews. So I wish I should have put some of my own photos in here to show you guys what they look like. But anyway, there is a link down below, but just sign up, or you can type in the link bychristinanichole.com/light/alphas. That way she knows that you guys came from me. I'm not getting paid to promote this program, but I definitely think that it's something that everybody should participate in if product photos are something that is challenging to you. I should also mention that you can do it with your smartphone. You don't need to, go out and buy an expensive camera or a bunch of crazy equipment. So, and that's what I love, because I was able to get all my product photos done literally in front of my storm door of my house. The other thing that I wanted to announce to you guys, I'm back, baby! Virtually this year. Amplify 2025, they invited me to fly out to Latvia. Unfortunately, I haven't fully recovered, or I'm just now recovering from the pneumonia that I got last year on my trip to Amplified. I've had a lot of breathing problems over the last year. I've been on multiple inhalers and things. Probably not a good idea for me to jump back on a flight this year, but I am going to be speaking virtually. They're making an exception for me. So I highly recommend going down to the link below. It will be in the video description, so you can claim your free ticket this year. I don't know how they're setting it up, how, last year we had like a Discord chat and everything. I haven't gotten any details about that. I do know that I'm going to be talking about trend research. So even if you don't sell print on demand, that's going to be a session that I feel will be very applicable to any seller. So definitely sign up for that. We do have a friendly competition going, this year again, among all of the influencers who are going to be speaking. You know me, I would love to be able to say that I got more signups than anybody else, because I love you guys, and some of these influencers have way bigger audiences than me. Last year we totally stomped the competition, though.
It wasn't even close.
Yeah, I ended up sending the most people. So if you guys can help me do that again, that would be awesome. Plus, by signing up, I'm assuming that that's how you get to participate in the giveaways. They always do a bunch of really great giveaways. Like I said, even if you don't sell POD, there's tons of great giveaways that you can do.
Christina said yes, they have lifetime access to the program during the live 5-day challenge. They have full access to me for support.
Perfect. And that link for Christina is down below. But yeah, all the links down below. And I think that's all I have for slides. So we can go ahead and go back to May. There we go. All right. I think we'll go back to these slides one more time at the end, just for anybody who.
This is year 3.
Yes, this is year 3. So
Layla said, "How do I sign up?"
All the links, whether it be Amplified or Christina Nicole's, they're in the video description. So just click see more, where it says expand for like Etsy resources. And I made sure that the top 3 links were the light challenge, the free Amplified tickets, and the last, fun thing is, you guys, when you sign up with my eRank link, and it's not an affiliate link, by the way. I'm a manager. I don't get paid for sending people to eRank. But if you sign up for a eRank trial through my link, I am the only person who offers month-long trials for eRank. So if you want to test eRank after you see it today, just make sure that you use the link down below and you can get actually a month-long trial rather than the 7 days that is advertised. So let me go ahead and sign in to my eRank. I should have done that before we went live, but we were kind of scrambling last minute. And then we're just going to go through and have a little fun today.
No fun.
No fun. No fun today.
No fun.
No fun allowed.
Not allowed.
Not allowed to have any fun.
Absolutely not.
All right, so I'm going to be using my eRank expert plan today. However, the tools that you see accessible to you should still be relevant, whether you're on expert or pro. I should also mention that in probably the next 2-ish weeks, eRank basic plan, the $5.99 per month plan, is sadly going away. If you're already on that plan, you're grandfathered in, you're safe. If you sign up, you know, before it goes away, you're safe. You're locked into it. But we have to get rid of basic because unfortunately Etsy is going to start charging tools and integrations for API access, and the amount of money they're charging is astronomical.
Yeah,
so
it's pretty wild.
We were faced with a hard decision. Anthony Wolf he rolled the basic plan out during COVID to help save people money. It was only meant to be a temporary thing. We decided to keep it around after COVID just because we knew finances were tight. But when Etsy made this announcement that we needed to pay for API access, we had to decide if we were going to get rid of our free plan or start charging more for our pro plan. We didn't want to do either of those things. So the most obvious choice was to just get rid of the basic plan because, again, it was only meant to be temporary to begin with.
Did you shout out our charity for the day?
I didn't. I'm going nonstop today.
Do it.
And
shout it out then.
Okay, well,
do it.
And there's also our charity for Save a Fox.
Save a Fox.
So please consider donating. We will be running that charity until the end of the month, and then we'll probably switch to St. Jude. Okay, I think that's it. Let's go ahead and share my screen.
Screen share. There you go.
Okay, let me take a drink real quick. I feel like I'm
Getting it rolling. How are you guys doing? Sorry it took me a minute to get in here. I haven't done my mustache in a couple of weeks and turned the camera on and realized, wow, I should probably do my mustache this time.
Okay, so I am currently logged into eRank. Do alphas still have eRank? Yeah. For HA.
Yeah. For the first year after you sign up, yep.
For HAA.
But you have to contact us. All the information for what you need to do is in the initial email sent to you when you sign up.
Yeah, that's pro, so that won't be affected by us getting rid of the basic plan. Okay, so we are currently looking at my eRank expert plan, starting out on our dashboard. I do have a video that outlines the entire dashboard because the dashboard itself is going to give you kind of overviews and little bits and pieces of tools that are located within other tools. So obviously the things that are probably the most exciting to you are your little badge that you get to show, you know, where in the realm of Etsy you are. There's been a lot of talk recently from sellers in different communities saying that they don't think that this is accurate. It absolutely is. I think that a lot of people forget that most people who start an Etsy seller account either never make a sale or they only make a few sales. There are a lot of people who start shops and just don't do anything with it. So getting into the top like 5 to 10% is really, really hard. Getting into that top 1% is extremely hard. So if you see yourself, you know, anywhere between top 10 to 1%, you are doing fantastic. So let's take a little scroll through. We will show you keywords, top keywords for your specific category that your Etsy shop has been, you know, set up with. For us, most of the products that we sell in Books and Cold Brews are stickers, so we're seeing a lot of keywords related to stickers. Obviously, a lot of these terms are going to be Infringing terms, things like Wizard of Oz, well, original Wizard of Oz is fine, but Lord of the Rings sticker, not something that you would technically be able to sell, but we're just showing you what people on Etsy are searching for. This, seeing this might tell me that, okay, Lord of the Rings stickers are popular. Maybe that leads me to believe that fantasy books are popular. Maybe I could start targeting, more fantasy books, for example. You can also see sales comparison of the top Etsy shops that you have chosen to track within your competitors. We'll do some more analysis of that when we go into competitor research. In mine, I just add a bunch of random shops in here so that I have data when I am recording videos. You'll also be able to see top keywords. Again, for mine, most people are just looky-loos because they find me on YouTube and they want to dig into my shop. So most of my top keywords are going to be related to my actual shop name. You can see your traffic sources. I think this is attached to traffic stats, isn't it? The sites that drove the most traffic to your listings. I thought that this was attached to traffic stats. So you can see that most of my traffic comes directly from Etsy.
Excuse me, sorry.
If you're tracking any listing changes within our change tracker, you can see all of the listings that you are tracking in here. Spotted on Etsy. This is showing you, I believe, how many top 2 pages of Etsy search results. So these are, listings that have been spotted high up in your search ranking for different terms. So, for example, we are officially licensed for different fantasy books. And we can see that, the specific titles of the books or Akatar sweatshirt, we're doing pretty well on these terms. Superstar keywords, these are terms that we have chosen to track as our main keywords. These are all going to be book titles, obviously, because these are terms that are related to our industry. And we'll get more into this in just a few minutes as we actually go through the tool tabs on the left. Basically, everything on your dashboard is just brief overviews. And I'm trying to see if there's anything else I want to talk about here. No, I think we'll get straight into the menus. Okay, so let's deep dive first and foremost into keyword research, starting with the keyword tool. There's currently 2 versions of the keyword tool. This is the beta version of the keyword tool. It is our newest iteration. The cool thing about this version of the keyword tool is it saves a search history. So any terms that you have searched in the past, you will be able to see, those terms here, and then you can just click on them if you would like to see those terms. I have a lot of different ones in here because I do a lot of research for videos and things like that. But if we were to click on grandma blanket, for example, it would open up the new beta version of the keyword tool page. We can see that grandma blankets were very popular around the chilly seasons last year. Relatively low competition for the average amount of searches. We can also include and exclude keywords. For example, if we were getting like a bunch of grandma blanket crochet patterns and we wanted to look at keywords for physical product, we might go in and exclude the word pattern. And then it would only give us keywords related to grandma blankets that do not include the word pattern. Or maybe we only want to include keywords that have the word pattern. Maybe we only want to see grandma blanket patterns. We could click include. You can also customize your columns. So for example, if we want to see, the search trend, that's going to be this graph showing you what time of year these keywords are most popular. I always like to have that turned on. Tag occurrences. So this is how many other sellers are utilizing these tags. Character count can be useful for seeing if this term will fit into a singular tag. Average searches, obviously important. I think that you should always have average searches checked on so that you know how many people on average are searching for this thing. Average clicks and click-through rate. Those can also be good indicators because they help to indicate whether or not people are actually exploring those listings once they search for them. The competition levels for those terms, again, one of the most important metrics. And Google searches, if you would like to see how many people are searching for, these products on Google. So You can also, if you prefer the view of the old keyword tool, you can click here or on an individual keyword tool page here. They both lead to the same place, and they will take you to the older version of the keyword tool. So if we were to search, we'll just do a search for blanket. A lot of people also don't know that you can perform these searches on other marketplaces. We have a lot of marketplaces now. You can check for, Google Shopping, Facebook Marketplace, eBay, Amazon, Pinterest. And Teachers Pay Teachers. I know a lot of you sell on Teachers Pay Teachers, but you can also do a bit of competitive research on sites like Temu and things like that if you want to try to, it's almost like good to steal their traffic. You learn a little bit about the enemy. We're not expecting any of you guys to be selling on places like Temu and Target, but it's good to see what's trendy overall. You know what I mean? And we also have some TikTok data for those of you who are selling on TikTok Shop. You can also toggle by country, and you can do this in the new version of the keyword tool as well, up here. But you can toggle by country. Obviously, most Etsy shoppers are located in the US. I think that a lot of people tend to think that we just don't have accurate data for other countries. That's not the case. There's just more US shoppers. So you're usually going to get a better representation of average searches by selecting US, even if you're not located in the US, simply because most shopping patterns are going to be very similar. Now, if you're selling something like Christmas crackers, that's, US, there's not very many people searching for Christmas crackers. In fact, let's give it a try. We'll do it in the new version of the keyword tool. We need to start, because eventually the old version isn't going to be around anymore. But let's just see. Christmas. We'll do a little comparison of US versus UK searches. Looks like in December there was an okay amount of searches, but look at the UK data. Significantly more people searching for Christmas crackers in the UK, because it's not really, they exist in the US, but they're definitely not as popular as they are in the UK. So we see only one little spike here at 3,510 searches last December. Now, if we switch over to UK, looky there, October. We get significantly more data when we look at the October, and really low competition. So, hey, if you're in the UK or you want to target some UK shoppers, definitely consider making some Christmas crackers, because it looks like there's a bit of a surge coming. Okay, but for the most part, when it comes to most searches, you want to just use the US data, even if you are not located in the US, because when it comes to things like necklaces and bracelets and cards and things like that, the searches are going to be very similar. Even for trending things, you're going to typically see relatively congruent search patterns. The only difference being is that the volume in the United States is going to be significantly more. So that is the meat and potatoes of the keyword tool. However, you do have a couple other tabs. You've got near matches. These are terms that are, similar to what you have searched for. So we've got Christmas crackers, Christmas cracker, crackers Christmas, for example. This is the SERPs tab. It looks like we've actually put out the full term search results analysis. Basically, this is going to give you some, let's switch back to US actually. I should have done that to begin with. There we go. This is going to give you information about listings that utilize this term. So for Christmas crackers, we have analyzed 100 listings, and the average price point is $7.50 for a Christmas cracker. Most listings have an average, favorite of 5. Let's see, 171,000 total views for listings that use the keyword Christmas crackers. We've got the average views for listings that utilize these terms, average daily views, and average weekly views. We can see the most popular tags for Christmas crackers. The bigger the word is, the more popular it is. The smaller the word is, the less popular it is. You can also open these directly, and they will open new keyword tool pages, so you can do further deep dives into these terms. Something else I did want to note that wasn't showing up in the Christmas cracker search are these 2 new badges that we recently added. They are some of the most useful things that I think we have here at eRank. So this is something you really want to pay attention to because it's only available in the new keyword tool beta. So if your screen doesn't look like mine when you are in the keyword tool, you want to make sure that you click try it out. These badges will tell you, for one, if the term is currently trending in search. So normally when it comes to eRank, we refresh our data monthly. So at the first of every month, we get data from the previous month. However, with these 2 little badges, it's the only place within eRank where we're able to get a little bit of that real-time data. So this is over the past week, whether or not, the term has been trending in search. So Christmas has been trending in search on Etsy. But we also have this brand new high conversion badge. So these are people who have actually added something to their cart that had this keyword in it and bought it. So Christmas already, people are buying Christmas products on Etsy. And this is in the last 30 days. So over the last month, people have been buying Christmas-related products. That is huge. So definitely make sure that you're double-checking for these badges because these are going to indicate profitability and purchase intent. Back over to our SERPs tab, which is this one right here. We can see the most popular categories that these products are listed in. So for the most part, people are listing their Christmas crackers and craft supplies and tools, patterns and how-to, and patterns and blueprints. That's very interesting. Maybe it's people in the US trying to teach people how to make their own Christmas crackers. Whereas if we switch to UK, maybe it would be party supplies. Price range, this is probably the most useful out of all of these, in my opinion. You can see the average price point for products like these. I recommend pricing in the top 10% of your industry. So don't pick the lowest price possible. Don't list them over here as $1.
That's no bueno.
I would be attempting to list, obviously somewhere in here.
Yeah, 5 to 7.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe 8.
Yeah.
8 on the high end, 5 to 7 on average, 4 if you're not good at it.
But then you start getting in here, and maybe these are listings that are bundles, for example, of a bunch of Christmas crackers. But for the most part, it looks like your sweet spot's going to be, like he said, in the $5 to $8 range. Top listings, you will see the top ranking listings in search for these terms. Which obviously, we have to remember that new listings get a slight boost in search, and what eRank is getting is the direct data from Etsy's API before customization is applied. So we can see this is the #1 Christmas cracker listing. And you can see all of the tags that they use. If you want to add one of these tags to your own keyword lists so you can save it for later, you can always click the little star icon and it will add to your keyword list. And you can see how long the listing has been active, total views, daily views, estimated sales, the price of the item, and then the estimated revenue. This is about 80% accurate because Etsy does not give out the actual revenue of a listing. However, we can see how many times the listing is sold. Because of that, we've built a little algorithm that gives an estimated revenue. But as I mentioned, it's only about 80% accurate, which is why we say it is just an estimate. So we can see some of those top listings. You can also click any of these, by the way. If you see a top listing and you want to do a little bit more analysis, click any of these listings and you can directly audit it and see a little bit more information about this competitor's listing. You can analyze their title. You can check through all of their tags. If you see a good tag, you can always save it to your keyword list by clicking the star. You can look at all of their attributes, the materials that they've selected, the category that they've listed their product in. You can read their product description. You can see instances of the keyword highlighted in the description, so Christmas crackers. All of their listing images, their processing times, their return policy, and the preview of how this listing would look if it was displayed in a Google search. So lots of good information here if you want to do a little bit of competitor research, but we'll return back to our keyword tool.
We have a lot of questions.
Sure.
usually pertaining to the tools that you're doing. Do you want to nail out a few questions before you move on?
With the keyword tool being the biggest tool that we have, yeah, let me finish up the marketplaces, and then we'll get into some questions before we move on to the next tool.
Yeah, 'cause we have a lot.
So we can see popular marketplaces where Christmas crackers are sold. It looks like Etsy is going to be, one of the top, but Amazon would be a better place to sell your Christmas crackers. Looks like Amazon is actually the best place to sell your Christmas crackers. Some results on Pinterest, but these are probably more of like how to make your own and eBay. But all of these other marketplaces, there's not even enough data for us to be able to give an idea of whether or not like Reverb is for music equipment. So probably not the place to sell your Christmas crackers.
Probably not.
Okay, I think that we will go ahead and answer some questions on the keyword tool.
I'm going to be sticking to eRank questions. If you guys have non-eRank questions, we can get to those after stream. Will eRank be adding Redbubble?
We have been keeping an eye on Redbubble data. The last that we did an analysis of Redbubble data, there just wasn't enough because the marketplace itself wasn't very popular.
Wrong mouse.
Sorry. So we can take a quick look and see.
Because you'll do that.
Sorry. Okay. Let's just take a quick look and see how Redbubble is comparing to Etsy in terms of site traffic. We want compare sites. So let's just do Etsy.com and Redbubble.com. Take a quick look. Yeah, Redbubble is not nearly as popular. And then you can see their relative popularity and where they rank in country. So Redbubble is
quite low.
But we are keeping an eye on it. We would love to be able to add it. Right now, there's just not enough data to even make it worth it. Data's expensive, and if we're paying for data and then not even getting anything useful for you guys, we would rather just wait and see if we can get more data in the long run.
Okay, the excluded keywords don't seem to carry over to other tabs, top listings, for instance. Am I missing something?
I don't think that it carries over. It's something that someone has. I recently had someone bring this up. If you ever notice anything like that and you want to make a little suggestion to our development team, just pop open this little chat here, click your messages. Anthony, it's a cat. And just send the team a message and let them know, say, hey, I'm coming from Starla and Marc's Friday Bean, and I have a suggestion for the keyword tool. And let the girls know, and they can, send it over to development.
Every SEO tool I use has different data for keywords. Is that because they interpret data differently? No, it's because they get their data from different... I mean, yes, probably they interpret their data differently, but it's because we buy it from different sources. No one gets their data directly from Etsy. Etsy doesn't give out data, but the more money you have, the better and higher quantity data that you can afford. As of right now, eRank is the largest for the Etsy SEO company, so we're able to afford the best data.
Right. We very likely have more data than our competitors, which is why you see incongruencies in the numbers overall.
Yep. Doesn't necessarily mean that their data is bad. That's not what we're saying, but we can't vouch for their data.
Right. And as I always say, data cannot be accurate or cannot be inaccurate so long as it's real. It can only become more accurate the more it's quantified. So the more data you have, the more of a bigger picture you get. It's like you have puzzle pieces in your puzzle box, and the more puzzle pieces you have, the clearer the picture becomes. We just happen to have a whole lot of puzzle pieces because we are the largest Etsy SEO company.
We're getting through these. Can you explain pricing in the top 10%? If you go, we already did. I mean, if you go back to the pricing tool, the one we literally already used, pricing in the top 10%, you can see if the entire chart is 100% of people, where are the top 10% of people pricing? This. It's not going to be down here where these people are kind of lowballing, but it's also not going to be up here where these people are crazy 200. This is likely just bad translations for...
Well, it could be bulk, like big sets of Christmas crackers.
Yeah, it could be a lot of different things. But if you're looking at pricing in the top 10%, you're going to take, a top 10% average. Probably going to be somewhere in this ballpark between $4 and, $7, $8, somewhere in this price range. It's really that simple. Don't overthink it.
Look for the big spikes and price somewhere
Mhm.
in that range.
How does the average pricing tool work when listings have different attributes that affect pricing?
You know what? I'm actually not sure. That would be a good question for Anthony. I would be
Yeah.
more than happy to ask him. But if you want to ask real quick, you can always just pop in. Our girls should be they're live right now. The girls
Yeah.
are online, so feel free if you've got eRank open, just pop them a question. Say you're coming from the Friday Bean and you were curious about something.
Almost done. What makes it a top listing? Because that seems really weak.
So top listings are based on where in search they're ranking, not necessarily what the listing is. A top listing is just showing what Etsy is ranking. So again, blame Etsy because sometimes they rank really doo-doo listings. But as we know, new listings get a slight boost in search because that is the time that Etsy is gathering information about that listing and seeing who's clicking on it, basically trying to figure out if it's a good listing and who they should be showing it to. So sometimes you're going to see listings that are ranking really high that aren't that great. You might also see a listing that's really high up in rank that is, it's just been around for a long time. And because it's been around for a long time, it's ranking higher, even if the listing itself isn't great. So with this one for Christmas, the number one Christmas listing is this Christmas game bundle. It's made $330. So one of the reasons why, let's say that we looked at this listing and the SEO was really bad. The SEO isn't that bad. I mean, there's a lot of repetition that's unnecessary, but the SEO isn't super bad. But let's pretend that we looked at this listing and the SEO was awful, which does happen sometimes. Sometimes you will look at the rank checker or the competitive listings, and a listing will pop up here that does not look like it should deserve to be here. One explanation, look at the days that it's been listed. If it's only been listed for a day or a couple days, then again, that's Etsy experimenting and trying to figure out what the listing is. So that listing is just temporarily holding that spot. Or alternatively, the listing quality score is really good because this listing has been sold multiple times. Maybe the listing is really old. It's been on Etsy for several years and it's accumulated a bunch of sales. And because of that, its rank is really high because Etsy knows, even though the SEO is bad, people like this listing because they have a lot of data for it.
She was talking more specifically. She said the top Christmas cracker listing was up for a year, had 0 sales and 0.1 views per day.
The other explanation is, well, let me keep going. The other explanation is that listing might have been, featured somewhere and gained a lot of traction. But let's go ahead and go back to Christmas crackers. We'll go back to our SERPs tab. Now this data, it wasn't. It's top listings, not SERPs. This data comes directly from Etsy's API. So this is on Etsy's side. 339 days total views, daily views, no estimated sales.
No estimated revenue, no hearts.
Very interesting.
Scroll down to the second one. They're all pulling that.
So yeah, I couldn't tell you. Can we switch over to UK? And
it could just be a lack of data because people in the US literally don't do this. I've never heard of a Christmas cracker before. This is my first time hearing this.
You would know what they were if you saw them. We've seen them in stores. We just don't. They're like a little surprise box. And
oh yeah, I get it. I've been watching people's explanations.
Okay, so this looks a little bit better. So again, that one might just be because Etsy is ranking those listings, trying to figure out who the US audience for them is.
Also, keeping in mind that estimated revenue is something that we calculate, and that's probably the least accurate data number that we have on the whole website.
Right.
It's entirely like based on an algorithmic thing, and a lot of times it's wrong.
Yeah. I mean, it's not. It's based in some truth, but it can be skewed. But the actual ranking itself
is correct.
Is from Etsy's side. So this one makes sense though to me because it's been active for 330 days. The views aren't too shabby. 191 total views. Estimated sales $4. Estimated revenue €52. Estimated revenue on this one is 308. But this listing might just be optimized better, might be a better photo. That could be what's driving people to. And this is actually really good tags. If you see Christmas crackers, cracker kit, eco crackers, Christmas decoration, they're not just repeating the word cracker, cracker, cracker over and over again.
Okay, you're good to move on.
Oh, is that all the questions related
it's
to
not,
this?
but it's not. None of the other ones that I found were pertinent. You can go ahead and move on.
Okay, we'll still get to questions. I just want to try
It's just
to
like, what is this tool? What is that tool?
We'll get to
You're
them.
seeing them.
All right, the bulk keyword tool is very similar. So basically you can enter a list of keywords if you just want to do some research in mass. So we'll just do like Christmas ornament. I don't know why your keyboard always double spaces.
Because you're slapping the space key instead of pressing it.
We'll do Xmas ornament. I don't know, Christmas bulb.
You did a double space there too.
I don't care. It'll remove it. Christmas decor. Oh, decoration. Yeah. And then decor. Okay. So, I did Christmas.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas. All right. And there we can get a nice side-by-side comparison of all of these terms, see which ones are good and which are bad. I do want to point out that if you ever see a section that says unknown, that doesn't necessarily mean that no one is searching for it. It just means that of the millions of panelists within our data set, not enough of them were searching for us to even be able to give any data. So that doesn't mean that no one's searching for it. It just means that either the term is very niche or it's not a term that many people use. So Christmas bulb, most people aren't searching for that on Etsy. They're searching for Christmas ornament. I think that's it for the bulk keyword tool. It's pretty self-explanatory since the data is the exact same as what you see in the keyword tool. Keyword lists, one of my favorite tools. This will allow you to save some of your favorite terms into a list. So for example, if I go into, where's my sweet spot list? I will click on sweet spots. So at the bottom of any keyword tool page, you have the option to create a new list. So here's all of my keyword lists. You can add a new list. So test list. I'll create it. Then I want to select it, so I'm only adding things into my test list. Where is it? There it is. Okay, so my test list is selected. We can see the title of it. And now I can go through and add some of these keywords into my list. We can see them being added. We can pop it open. We can open up our test list and see all the words that we have added to that list. Now, when we open up our keyword list, we can see all of the terms that we've added to the list. So this was a list that I created just of terms that had high searches and hardly any competition. Feel free to steal some of these. These are niches or gaps in the marketplace where there is more demand than what there are products. So I'm giving y'all some freebies here. A couple cool things within this tool, though. You can add color flags. This is supposed to be akin to if you were writing these down and highlighting things. You can use them however you want. For example, if it's a keyword that you're using in a listing, maybe you put a little green flag. If it's a keyword that you're experimenting with, maybe you put a little yellow flag. And if it's a keyword that looks really, really bad, maybe you put like a red flag and you know that this is just one that you're playing around with or considering. You can also add notes, so you could maybe put something like used in my listing and click save. Sorry, the screen isn't really, there we go. That looks a little better. And you can add that note in there. Okay, let's see. So keyword list, this is really helpful, especially if you've got a listing where you're concerned about the seasonality changing. I would recommend going through and adding things to a keyword list and then going through and like double checking, especially when it comes to keywords that you use frequently. because you can go in each month and see how the keyword trends have changed. So, for example, maybe you used, let me find a really good one. Maybe you listed a moss carpet in September of last year because you saw that it was getting highly searched, but now your listing isn't selling anymore. So you go into your keyword list and you see, oh, well, those searches have flatlined over the last, few months. So maybe this isn't the right keyword to use anymore. Compare keywords is going to be very similar to the bulk keyword tool. We can take up to 4 different keywords. So we'll just do maybe Christmas and Halloween. I don't know. We'll do Easter and
Calentine's.
Because
I don't have keys on my keyboard. You got to think about it.
I did.
A lot of my keys are just pictures, not actual keys.
So you can see how those keywords compare. Now, ideally, you would want to do these with, terms related to your items. But you can go through, see what time of year they're most popular. Obviously, people are searching for Halloween more in September. People are searching for Christmas in November. Nobody's searching for Christmas in January. Well, I guess 9,000 people are. And we can compare each of these terms. Last tool in the keyword research is the rank checker. This is one of the most useful terms that you could, or the tools that you could use. Basically, what this tool is going to do is show you where on Etsy your listing will appear in terms of, the listing pages or search pages. It'll show you where you will appear before Etsy's layer of personalization is applied. So if you're going to Etsy and you're typing in some keywords, to see what page your listing appears on, basically what you're getting is a personalized set of results because Etsy caters each user's experience. Doesn't matter if you're logged out, doesn't matter if you're using an incognito window, doesn't matter if you're using a VPN. There is nothing that you can do to strip this layer of personalized data because it's going to depend on your location. It's going to depend on, past habits on the platform. There are so many things that Etsy's going to factor in. And if you're using a VPN, you're just setting your location somewhere else. So you're going to get personalized data for the country that you select. So the rank checker is tapped directly into Etsy's API, and it's going to show you where your listings rank in search before that layer of personalization is applied. Now, you might be wondering why this even matters if the personalization is applied. Basically, what the rank checker is telling you is that if you are ranking well, so like page 1, page 2 for a really, really popular search term, it means that the average shopper is going to hopefully encounter your listing. It means that your listing is well optimized for that term and will likely be showing up in search high for the ideal type of customer for that product based on their level of personalization. So in this example, I'm going to do a rank checker for Books and Cold Brews, which is our Etsy shop. And I will search FBAA, which is the book series From Blood and Ash. We are officially licensed for From Blood and Ash products. Actually, I'll put sticker. I guess I could have just selected it here, and we're looking specifically within our shop, and we are selecting any country. We will analyze. We get a little bit of data about this listing. Or about this keyword. This is another one of those cases where average searches are low within our data set, but this is a very popular book series. So because of that, it's just so niche that we don't have very much data for it. Come on, you can do it. Well, we'll go ahead and... Okay, so we can see page 1, position 2. So this is page 1. If someone were to search for From Blood and Ash sticker, our listing on average will appear page 1, position 2 on a search page, which is about as good as it gets, right? Page 1, position 48. Again, really great. Page 2, Position 78. Still really good. So we can see that most of my listings that are ranking for this term are ranking on pages 1 and 2. That means that this listing is very well optimized. I'm making a decent amount of sales on these listings, despite the fact that it is a relatively niche product. Now, if we go into a product that I am less likely to rank for, so we'll do reading blanket, which is a more saturated term. I do have some reading blankets, but I guarantee I'm not ranking very high for them because there are a lot of other sellers who are selling them. We can see our searches have gone up. Our average clicks have definitely gone up, and there's a decent amount of competition here. Oh, okay, I'm not ranking too bad. So for these, I'm ranking on page 2, position 74, and I'm ranking on page 3, position 98. Better than I thought it was going to be.
Excuse me.
Oh, there's a couple more. Okay, page 3, page 4. So these aren't doing awful. I thought it was going to be way worse. Cool. I don't know why this isn't loading over here. Oh, it's going slowly but surely. But the rank checker is a really useful tool. It's one that I like to see. You know, if you're trying to figure out what listings you need to work on, in terms of, you know, your keywords, pop some keywords into the rank checker tool, see where you're appearing before that layer of personalization is applied. And if it's a decent keyword that has decent average searches and relatively low competition, then maybe that's not the keyword you want to remove, especially if you're seeing that you're, you know, on average going to rank high for it. Okay, did we have any more questions about the keyword research tab before we move on?
So there was like a whole conversation taking place at the same time.
Oh, okay. Well,
so it was kind of hard to keep up.
I just figured that before we move on to the next tool.
What does it mean when it says position 78 if there aren't 78 thumbnails on a page?
You know what? I'm not entirely sure, to be perfectly honest.
I mean, if there's... How many are there on a page? 30?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. That
is very weird. Could just be a glitch.
No, the tool has been like this for a while. This would be a good question for Anthony Wolf.
In the rank checker, do you need to put the keywords then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you want to enter your keyword, and select your shop as long as you've got your shop connected, or there are also competitors that you've tracked. I've just got a bunch of random ones in here. You can look at, see how your competitors are ranking for that term. You can also select specifically by country. I just recommend doing any country so you can see the average. Anything else?
Nope.
Okay. All right. So next tab is competitor research. We'll go ahead and close this one out. Competitor sales. You can track competitors. Again, mine are all random. No, if you see your name in here, please don't panic. I just select a bunch so that I have data for videos. We can see the different sales volumes. So I've got some of the highest, biggest sellers on Etsy, like Caitlin Minimalist in here. My Lord, her sales are insane. But this, gives you an indication of what their sales look like, what time of year they're selling the most. Most people are going to be selling more in December, obviously, for holiday time. You can see how long they've been selling, how many listings they have, their total sales, how many sales they've made in the last 30 days, and how many sales they've made in the last week. You can also turn on this graph to see how their sales compare. So if I wanted to add Caitlin Minimalist to the graph, I could click her and it would add her in. Each one will be assigned a color. This is another one where you can customize your columns if you want to see specific things or add notes to the competitors. You can set different date ranges for their sales. So this one's pretty self-explanatory. And if you want to add a new shop, you just enter it here and click track shop, and you can build out this list. Top sellers on Etsy. This is going to show you the #1 selling shops on Etsy. You can also add a, shop of your choice in here. by typing in its name. So we can see the #1 shops on Etsy are Caitlin Minimalist. She's always the top shop. You can see what category that they sell within, the year that they opened, and what their sales trends look like. So basically what time of year they're selling the most. Again, usually December is going to be a big spike for most of these shops. Bohemian Findings was one of the #1 shops, but I believe they got shut down.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's no sales data there.
Yeah, I think they got shut down. So they're still appearing as a top shop just because
such high sale volume.
They have a high sales volume, but I believe that they got shut down. So that one, again, pretty self-explanatory. Shop info, important statistics about any Etsy shop. See where it ranks and gain insights into its success. So I will pick Planner. No, Caitlin Minimalist. No, well, I've just got a bunch of randos in here. Yeah, let's do Caitlin Minimalist since she'll have lots of good data. She's like the #1 seller on Etsy. Okay, so we can see a bit of info. We can also click see on Etsy if we want to open her shop up. So we've got her total sales, average daily sales, active listings, and how long she's been selling. You can look at her overall shop stats and sales stats, her sales history, the top tags that she utilizes in her shop, which for her, obviously she's putting her name in there because she's such a big seller that a lot of people are going to search for her by name. You can also, steal some of these if you want and add them to your own sweet spots into your keyword list. The top categories that she lists in and her most recent listings. You can take a peek at some of her listings, the tags that she uses for those listings, the views, favorites, and estimated sales. Again, remember, estimated sales, estimated revenue. These two metrics are just an average because Etsy doesn't give this information. So we've had to create a little algorithm that will do that for us. It's about 80% accurate. Now, one thing I will say is that a lot of people attempt to utilize this tool and put their own shop into this. And then it's going to sometimes give you that 80% accurate revenue instead of, your actual revenue. Make sure if you're looking at your own shop, you're not using the competitor tools to do that. You're using the listing audit to do that instead, because you want to be able to get that data directly from your shop. Whereas a competitor tool, we can only do what Etsy allows us to do, basically. And the tags that she utilizes, we can go through and see the top tags for her shop. Okay. Category report. This is a brand new tool that we just added. It was in beta during our last live stream, but it is now open to the public. So definitely play around with it and leave some good feedback for us right here. Just click the message if you want to leave feedback on it. We're still, when it comes to new tools like this, we're constantly improving them. So we want to know what you would like to see. Now, when it comes to category name, you can type it in yourself, but you need to make sure that it is a category that Etsy actually lists. So for example, you wouldn't want to type in bookmark is probably not going to give us a category because there isn't a category just called bookmark. However, there are paper and party supplies, wedding invitations and paper. Usually it's easier to just select from this list though. So we'll click home and living. From this tool, we can see the average price of items that are sold in the home and living department, $15. The top subcategories. So this is where you might want to click in and actually get a more niche breakdown. So we started with home and living, but maybe specifically you sell, I don't know, outdoor and gardening. So we can click in here and refine it down a little bit. We can see the age breakdown of buyers. So it looks like most people who are shopping for outdoor and gardening are between 35 and 44. It's mostly females. The most clicked shops for this category, Seed Geeks is #1. So it looks like mostly seed sellers. Most search keywords. Looks like people are searching for some gardening related gifts. Don't know where Pokemon is ranking in that for some reason. Home decor, furniture, very odd. Maybe outdoor like patio furniture, 3D printed. A lot of weird terms in here. Could just be people who are miscategorizing their items. But the most clicked keywords in listings that are listed in outdoor and gardening are plants, planter. And you can see what states in the US are, most popular for these terms. So it looks like Texas is making up a majority. You can see how much their average order value is. Looks like Florida is, making less sales, but the average order value is quite high. So this tool's brand new. Feel free to play around with it. Did we have any questions about those tools?
Nothing about those tools new. I follow about 30 competitors on eRank. Sometimes it worries me if I've had no sales and everyone else has, but it's also helpful showing you that nobody else has had a sale some days, so it's not just you. Yeah, it can be a little helpful.
Next up is listing optimization. Listing audits. This is where you should be looking at your own listings. So, like I said, a lot of people put their shop into the competitor tracking tools. If you want to look at your own listings, do it within the listing audit. Listing audit is going to give you grades for your different listings. Again, when it comes to the listing audit and the grades that you see, just be mindful that this is not us telling you that your keywords are good. Basically, a grade is just showing you how well your listings follow Etsy's best practices. We have seen sellers completely tank their shops by taking a listing that's already doing well, but that has a low letter grade, and trying to get the grade up to an A, thinking that they'll make their listing better. In reality, Etsy, even if you have, not the best SEO, Etsy's already recognized what you want to be known for if that listing is selling. So going in there and changing all your keywords to try to strive for a better grade can actually hurt you more than help you. So again, grades are great when you're first building a listing or for editing a listing that isn't selling, but you don't want to go in and tweak a bunch of listings just for the sake of getting a high grade if that listing is doing well. So let's go ahead and we will click a random one. This one has a B. So let's take a peek at the listing audit. Just reminding you guys again that we are officially licensed. So make sure that you're not selling any bookish items without that official licensing. My video on Tuesday actually outlined exactly how to go about doing that. So we're looking at our Court of Thorns and Roses dog bandana. It's sold twice. We can see the estimated conversion rate, daily views, total views, favorites, quantity available, and the overall visibility score of that listing. Traffic stats. This is going to be for those who have connected a Google Analytics account to eRank. So you can see that in organic search, we have gotten 19 visits from Etsy. No Etsy ads visits, no Pinterest visits, no Facebook visits, but other sites we have had 19 visits. So maybe that's social media. You can see the listing age, when we created it, when we last updated it, and when it expires. You can also add notes. Your superstar keyword is the keyword that you want to be known for. For us, it's ACOTAR, or the acronym for A Court of Thorns and Roses. We can see that it is indicating that ACOTAR is in our title, it is in our tags, and it is in our description. We've got some SEO tips here. Again, if the listing is currently selling, you don't want to make any changes to it. Make sure that your most important keywords are near the start of your title. So this isn't because the start of the title is weighed heavily in search. That's not what it's telling you. It's telling you that customers are going to see this snippet. For us, though, ACOTAR dog bandana, those are the most important keywords. So we don't need to worry about this tip. The listing has keywords that already appear in its categories or tags, so you can remove the repeat terms. We're aiming for exact matches, though. I want to aim for the exact match ACOTAR Pet and ACOTAR Christmas, so not really something that I need to worry about. Review the spelling of the words used in your tags. Obviously, ACOTAR is being flagged as being spelled incorrectly because it's an acronym. That's another tip that we can ignore. Aim to fill all 10 photo slots. Okay, so this is something that, I might want to consider. If I don't have all 10 photos, which for this listing, I believe that I don't, might want to go in there and add more. I don't have a listing video here. Now, we do have a new video tool that I'll be showing you here in just a few minutes, but this will allow you to quickly create a video for any of your listings that don't already have them. And consider adding additional keywords for materials used in your listings. You can add up to 13 material keywords. I don't know if this is correct. They can help your items appear in relevant searches on Google and other search engines. I don't think that that's I think whoever entered this did this wrong. Can you make a note for me to check this? Because materials don't count for SEO. Yeah. Unless there's something I'm missing, I don't think that materials count for other search engines. So that might need to be removed. I'll follow up on this.
They just redid a bunch of stuff, and we're talking about their new search algorithm in their last investor call, and they were talking about...
This is for Google. This is for external.
For Google?
This is for external search engines.
Yeah, I sent you a message.
Yeah, your materials, you don't need to fill out all 13 materials. Just make sure that they're relevant to what you're selling. Okay, so visible portion of your title. This is showing what will show in search. If someone searches for your product, they're not going to see your full product title on a search page. So it's going to highlight what they will see. That's perfect. Akatar dog bandana, officially licensed. Sarah, and then the J Maz is not highlighted, but that's perfect. You'll be able to see all the tags that you're using. Again, I cram my tags because Etsy will broad match them. So a lot of my tags look like they don't make sense. However, these words are going to be mixed and matched in every possible combination, which is why it looks like I've got a bunch of nonsense tags. I actually have a video on this on my channel that talks about how to structure your tags and why, when you look at your competitors, it might look like their tags don't make any sense. So definitely one to check out. Let me know if you guys end up needing that video link and I can get it for you. Also, from the listing audit page, you have the option to track changes of your listing. So if I were to click the track changes tool, I guess I'm already tracking the max number. But you can click the track changes tool and it will start taking a snapshot of those listings. So if you are about to make a change to a listing and maybe doing a big SEO overhaul, might be a good idea for you to start tracking the changes so you can see how those changes to that listing affected your views, favorites, and your sales. So for example, I might go in to, I'll go into this listing and click show changes. I'll scroll down. Guess this wasn't a good one because this one didn't have any changes. Let me pick one that actually might have some results. Try this one. Okay, there we go. So we can see positive indicators here. We can see that, let's see, this would have been yesterday or today. Yeah, today, this listing got an extra view. So that's good. Scroll down. We got 3 views, 2 views, 3 views. So we know we got some favorites. We know that this listing's doing pretty good. This is not a listing that I would want to change the keywords of because it looks like it's doing pretty good on its own. However,
what does the visibility score mean?
We'll get to that in just a minute.
Okay.
However, if I were to look at one of my listings that isn't selling right now, we'll do this Christmas ornament. Because obviously Christmas ornaments aren't going to be doing well right now. We see that there isn't a whole lot to show. So this tells me that maybe this is a listing that I could afford to do a keyword update on. I know that this listing isn't being searched right now because people aren't buying Christmas ornaments yet. So that makes sense to me. But if it wasn't a Christmas ornament, this might be cause for concern. Okay, visibility score. Let's back up. So your visibility score, by the way, you can hover over all of these. So the visibility score is a measurement of how well your listing's daily views compare to listings from thousands of other Etsy shops. The main thing to remember here, though, is that your visibility score is since the date that your listing was created. I think a lot of people try to tweak and tweak and tweak their listings, trying to increase their visibility score, but that is not going to help, because this is talking about your views that your listing has gotten from the date that it was created. Which means that, you know, for example, if I were to go start tweaking this listing that I made, you know, a long while ago, it's going to take a long time for me to get this visibility score up, because it doesn't have a lot of views. So increasing visibility score takes a lot of time, keeping in mind that it is from the date that the listing was created. Don't stress too much about visibility score, but it can be a good indicator of some listings that you might want to go in and tweak. So for example, we see that these two listings only are at 29%, but they're Christmas listings, so that makes a bit of sense to me. Why are some of these showing 0%? That's not accurate. Make another note of that for me. But for a listing like this with a 44% visibility score, I know that this is not a listing that is selling very much. The visibility score isn't great. This is one where I might want to go in and actually make some edits to the listing. Another thing that I want to show off, though, is the traffic stats tool. So this is for those of you who have set up Google Analytics within your Etsy shop and then connected that Google Analytics account to your eRank account. We will be covering how to do this in this year's upcoming Alpha Holiday Bootcamp. Anthony's actually going to be coming on and doing some stuff. But this will tell you what keywords are leading people in, to this listing. Dragon sticker Abraxos. Abraxos in the flowers, Throne of Glass stickers, Abraxos file, which again, this is not even it's not a file, so there's no reason that I should be, being found for it, but this is just showing you the keywords that your listing's being discovered for. We also have a new traffic stats beta. I don't think I've looked at this. Seeing the top terms that are bringing traffic to my Etsy shop. Most are going to be related to my shop name, which is Books and Cold Brews. My name, people are specifically searching for that because they want to see what Starla and Marc is up to. Let's view the traffic stats for this listing. Ooh, From Blood and Ash sweater is bringing in traffic, and this term isn't even in my listings. So that tells me that this is a keyword that I might want to add into my listing because it's bringing me traffic. Okay. Moving on. The health check is a tool that I asked Anthony to add. Basically, this just gives you a brief overview of your listings and things that you can fix, little quick wins. So for example, for this listing, I can see that there is 1 missing image and 10 spelling issues. The spelling issues are from where I've used the word Akatar as opposed to A Court of Thorns and Roses, so I can ignore that. However, 1 missing image, that might be something that I want to add for the holiday season. We can also customize the columns as well. So if you don't want to see spelling issues, for example, you can get rid of that. Trying to see if there's any other one-word tag. Hey, oh, that's right, because this was a really long tag. So one-word tags, you can fit lots of words within a single tag. Etsy's going to view those words on their own, even if they are contained within a single tag. So if you have a one-word tag like ornament, if you can get another word in there, that's best case scenario. For this one, it was one long word. It was the tag Shadow Singer. Because it's related to this particular character, and that term was so long that I couldn't fit any other words in there. I think that's it. You can also open listing audits immediately. Next is our AI listing helper. As with any AI tool, it's not perfect, so just make sure that you are keeping track of, what your listing is and not just copying and pasting these directly into your listing. But let's say we are selling a white mug with a watercolor picture of a gray tabby cat smiling in a pile of, I don't know, sunflowers.
Chicken pecking coming back to bite you with my space bar, isn't it?
Yes. Okay, so it gives us some title ideas. White mug with smiling gray tabby cat, watercolor and sunflowers. Tabby cat with watercolor sunflower design. Gray tabby cat and sunflowers watercolor mug. And you can directly copy that title if you want to paste it into your Etsy titles. Gives you 3 description ideas. So add a touch of whimsy to your morning routine with this charming white mug featuring a watercolor illustration of a gray tabby cat nestled within a bed of cheerful sunflowers. And you can also get a list of different tags to use. Again, this is completely AI generated, and this is why I recommend doing your own SEO research rather than relying on AI tools, because they tend to not know search volumes very well. This is why ChatGPT can't do your SEO for you. It can guess, but ChatGPT does not have search volumes to back up its suggestions. So when it comes to any AI tool, you're going to want to make sure that you are double checking things, because most of these terms are not even being searched for. But I like this tool. You know, if you are someone who can't think of a good way to describe your products, you know, maybe you go in here and snag one of these descriptions. Just make sure you read over it, because sometimes it'll give your product like different attributes and things that the product doesn't actually have. Compare listings. This will allow you to compare multiple listings by adding in their ID or URL. The ID is when you have an Etsy listing open. Let me actually, I'll pop one open so that I can show you.
Just giving you a time check. It's 1:20.
It's fine. So your listing ID is going to be, see this set of numbers right here? Right there? That's
They're
your,
not going to be able to see that, but yeah.
there's like a little list of numbers here.
After the slash for listing and before the next slash with the description of the...
Yeah, it's just the list of numbers. We can take it over into our compare listings, paste it in, and then maybe I will pick, I don't know. I'll pick another one. Actually, let me pick one from a shop that isn't mine. And then we will pop it in. And we will compare these 2 listings, one of mine and somebody else's. Okay, so you can see their daily views versus my daily views, total views, their listing age, my listing age. And you can do up to 4 of these and compare them side by side. Track changes. Again, we already kind of looked at this, looking at the different changes that, you know, we've seen for listings. This is where I showed you that the views, favorites, and sales of a listing have changed. This is great for when you make an SEO update to a listing. And if you make an SEO update, it will actually highlight where the update was made so that you can see exactly when you made the update and what the update was. It'll highlight either what you removed or what you added. That way, if you make a change that wasn't good for your listing, you can go back in and revert back. Let me close out a couple of these. Changes. Draft listings is going to analyze listings that you currently have in draft. I've got a bunch of random listings in draft. This is great for before you publish a listing. If you want to, you know, analyze those listings that you're currently working on, you can go through and see their image and tag count and their title, and you can audit these draft listings. Same with expired listings. You can go through and look at any listings in your shop that are expired if you need to make any updates to them. I currently don't have any expired listings, but it will look very similar to our listing audits. Create Video Beta. This is a brand new tool that we just added. If you don't have any videos in your listings, this is a great tool to do the job super quick. If you're unfamiliar with video editing software, this is for you. If you're someone who uses CapCut, Canva, yada yada for your videos, this probably isn't for you because it's very simple. Basically, with this tool, you can upload a couple images and it will play them in a slow slideshow. And then you can export the video, it'll save to your computer, and you can upload it directly into your Etsy listings. You can change the background color of the videos, how long you want each picture to play in the slideshow, and how long you want the transitions to be. So very simple. I don't have any computer or pictures on our computer to add into this to show you. But it's in beta. If you have any suggestions for it, we've already had a lot of great feedback on it. We've had people ask if they can add text to it, which I think that they might be working on. You can always message the team.
Excuse me.
Let them know that, you have feedback for the create a video tool. Shop Insights, Traffic Stats is where you connect your tool or your Etsy shop to Google Analytics and then connect it directly to your eRank account. Doesn't look like I have any good keyword data over the last 30 days, so I'm going to do the last 15 months instead. We can see that most people are finding my shop through my shop name, which is Books and Cold Brews. These are people coming from YouTube, coming to sniff me out, which is why I use this shop as my public shop that I teach you guys with. And my other new business that I just started, I ain't telling nobody about it because it's going to skew my data. But we can see that these are the listings that people found when searching for Books and Cold Brews. They found me via organic search. And we can see how many visits came from that keyword. So this one would actually be useful to me, seeing ACOTAR. We can view the traffic stats for specific listings. So I'll pull open this listing. And we can see that most people found me for the term ACOTAR blanket hoodie, which is great because that's what I want to be found for. You can also see if anybody found you through other platforms like Etsy ads, Pinterest, or Facebook. I won't have anything on here because I don't think I have added this listing to any of these platforms. Spotted on Etsy. Again, we talked about this at the beginning, but this is basically showing you where your listings are being found for specific search terms. So, for example, the term Valaris ornament, it was spotted on page 2, position 45. So we can see where on Etsy these listings are being found for these different terms and where you are ranking. Tag report, pretty self-explanatory. This one's going to go over and show you the tags that you are utilizing in your Etsy shop. So these are some of my most used tags. Again, when it comes to tags, I maximize them. So I make sure that I'm stacking words together, even if the full tag itself doesn't make sense. It doesn't matter. Etsy's going to mix and match these in every possible combination. Every word within your tags. Sales map is going to show you where in the world your listings are selling. I'm going to pop back to Maine because I want to make sure that I'm not showing anything personally identifiable with our customers.
Yeah. Just get your finger off that so you don't accidentally press it.
I think we're working on the sales map.
Doesn't look like it. It gives locations, but
it's
it doesn't
vague.
give anything else. It's vague enough. You're fine.
So this is where your most recent 300 orders came from. You can see the order value by country. So most of our customers are in the US and followed closely by the UK. And then you can also see where they were coming from and how much money each of these areas brought in. This is just fun. It's just a fun little map that, not something that we think that you should be obsessing over, but might be fun to look into. Spell checker, again, this is just going to show you listings that might have spelling errors, but you can also set a safe list, which is just something I haven't done. Chonky Cat, Whimsy Goth, Book Talk. So I might go in because I use the term book talk a lot. It's telling you what, I might have been trying to get, which was bookmark, booked. So I might add in my safe list. Oh, I guess I did have a couple. Witchy is in there. Maybe I do. Oh, maybe I have to add it in here. How do I do it? Oh, yeah, there we go. Add to your safe list. Okay. So Whimsy Goth has been added to my safe list. So any listings that have Whimsy Goth in it won't be flagged. This is the one that I think might. No, we're good. All right. Delivery status report is going to show you for orders between a date range if those orders have been delivered. That way you don't have to go through all of your Etsy orders individually and click on the tracking numbers. Obviously, I'm not going to enter in any of the dates that have tracking numbers because that is going to have personally identifiable information for our customers. However, this is really useful around holiday time, so you don't have to go into each of your Etsy orders and go through and see what's been delivered and see what's been, where there's delays. You can just see a big list of them. Last ones are our Trend Buzz and monthly trends, my favorite tools. Trend Buzz is going to show you the most popular keywords on different marketplaces. For example, we could see what's most popular on, Barnes & Noble and Kobo, which is books, and Pinterest and Redbubble. Oh, we do have Redbubble trends. We just don't have Redbubble keyword data.
Good Lord.
So we can go through and see what the most popular are. Now, keep in mind, there will be copyright terms on here. Just because people are searching for them does not necessarily mean that they are safe to use. You can also see what the most popular searches were yesterday. Brooch. Interesting. Very interesting. Our monthly trend report will help you to narrow it down just a little bit more. You can do this by category. So, for example, maybe we want to see what was most popular in Christmas. Okay. And we can see Christmas gifts was the most popular search in July, which is as far as back as the data goes for this tool. If you want to see stats for yesterday, you got to use the Trend Buzz. We can also scroll through, and I guess there's no flame icons. If you see a flame icon, that indicates a term that was popular yesterday. So let's go into jewelry. I'm sure there will be a flame somewhere in here. Nope.
Guess not.
Maybe not. Well, either way, if you see a little flame, that just means that it's something that was really popular yesterday. Okay, calculators. Again, if you want to make sure that you're profitable, you can put in your price, shipping price, any coupons that you're offering for that listing. If you have labor cost, material cost, shipping cost, if anything that you're putting into Etsy ads, renewal fees, and then we will automatically put in the listing fees, transaction fees, yada, yada. And we will give you an estimated profit for your listings. Extremely helpful if you're not sure how to price your items. And the ROI calculator is going to help you when it comes to your ads. So you can put in your ad spend, the number of views, clicks, orders from ads, and revenue from your ads to see what your return on investment for your ads is. So again, not one that I can do right now for you, but very, very helpful if you're trying to make the most of your Etsy ads. All right, we're almost to the end. Last two tools. Sites info. This one is my favorite. This is only going to be helpful when looking at big sites, not your own little websites. But if you want to see how Etsy is doing, for example, we actually took this tool away because not enough people used it. So go use it. We were just talking about it yesterday, how not enough people use this tool. I don't want it to go away again. So for Etsy, what I want to look at is our reach. Did it seem like things were quiet on Etsy 2 months ago? Did it seem like things were really quiet in early summer and spring?
That's crazy.
Yeah, things were really quiet last summer in the early summer and spring. And we can see that Etsy's overall reach for summer and spring was really low. But now Etsy's on the up and up because we're approaching the holiday season. The closer that we get to Q4, the more this is going to go up. So if for any reason you're wondering, is Etsy quiet or is it just me? This is a great way to gauge that. You can also see, users by country. Obviously, Etsy's more popular in the US.
Linda said site info is not in basic.
I don't think it is. No, I don't think site info is available for basic plan. I think it's only pro. We can see that Pinterest was the #1 driver of traffic to Etsy. That is huge. That means that if you guys want to advertise products and you're wondering where to do it, Pinterest is #1, YouTube is next, Reddit is 3rd, Facebook is 4th, Instagram is 5th. And the top referring sites, looky there, ChatGPT. That's very interesting. It's because ChatGPT recommends products. You know, if somebody goes to ChatGPT, they almost use it like a search engine. And ChatGPT is actually starting to recommend Etsy listings. And then PayPal, I assume it's more of a transaction thing.
Yeah.
And top search engines, Google being #1.
Obviously.
Top keywords, Etsy, Etsy login, Etsy seller, and world map. Now, if we go into, let's see, site lists. I can't even remember what this one is. Tracking multiple sites. So we could do Etsy.com, Amazon.com, eBay.com. Again, we need to do this for big sites, not little sites, because little sites don't have any domain authority. But we can compare, see how they compare to each other. Amazon is the biggest, obviously. eBay is next. Etsy's still the little guy. Actually, eBay and Etsy aren't too far off.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not
showing
bad.
that eBay has been a worldwide selling platform since we were little kids.
Right. However, Etsy, the social traffic that comes to Etsy isn't too bad. So this kind of tells you that, maybe social media is the place to go. And lastly is compare sites. It's going to be a little similar, but I like this one when it comes to people saying, like, where should I sell? Like when we did the Redbubble and Etsy. Let's do a couple of smaller sites. So we'll do redbubble.com, society6.com, and what's another little POD? Teespring.com. We'll compare these three little guys.
Probably kill that space there.
It'll still work. Okay, so say that you're trying to decide where you want to sell your products. Maybe you pop in all the marketplaces that you're considering to see which one's the most popular. So of these three, Redbubble is the most popular. Society6 is way under that. And Teespring is right on par with Society6. We can see how they compare to each other. So Redbubble is definitely outranking Society6 and Teespring. And we can see where their percentage of traffic is coming from. They're all about pretty on par. Okay. Last thing to show you is our browser extension, which is right here. You can add this directly to your browser. Ours is already added, but you basically just click the add to your browser and you will get this new little... Oh, can you get rid of no face? Put it to no face. Yeah. See in this top right corner, real tiny up here, way up here. All right, go ahead and do just us. Let me go to Etsy.com. Let me click on a random listing. I will do one of mine, so I'm not outing anybody. All right, screen share no face. Now notice that the little eRank logo up here has now turned green. That means it's active. This will also work on Amazon, a couple other marketplaces too. Anytime you see it light up, it'll work. So we'll click on it. We can analyze any listing on Etsy. Title, the estimated sales, estimated revenue, estimated conversion rate. Views, listing age, how many are available in the favorites. And we can see the tags. And we can select a keyword list. And we can steal tags from competitors. If you're doing a little bit of research and you see a tag that you want to steal, you can do that. We can also go to the storefront itself and get stats on the shop overall. So we can see the shop stats based on the month and when the sales were made, the total sales, the sales rank, the sales history. We can check out the views of each of the individual listings and estimated sales for those listings, and the tag that seller is using, which is significantly more useful when you are looking at competitors as opposed to yourself, but good to know information. Okay, I think that's good.
Okay.
We just reviewed every tool in eRank, and it only took us an hour and a half. Before we'll answer questions for maybe like 10 minutes, but
I have something important to talk about.
Oh, go ahead.
No, it's fine. You do what you need to do. I'm going to talk last.
Share my screen one last time, and then we'll get into Mark's important thing that I don't even know what it is. But Christina Nicole's Light Challenge, I talk about her all the time. She's that amazing product photography coach that I am constantly shouting out, constantly sending you guys to her channel. She is fantastic. The quality of her work and her coaching and how much she works one-on-one with students is absolutely amazing. She has a 5-day challenge coming up. You can enroll now, but you only have until Sunday to do so because the challenge starts on Monday. Basically, you get a set of pre-recorded videos. You get one a day for 5 days. You get direct support from her where you can ask her questions. She will evaluate your product photos for you if you have questions about them. And it's only $47. It is a fantastic deal, and there's no better time to do it. I highly recommend jumping on board just so you can get your photos top notch for the holiday season. Not to mention, you only need your smartphone. You don't need to buy a bunch of equipment. You don't need an expensive camera. You don't need a light box. She's teaching you how to do this with the light that you already have available to you and with your phone. I also asked her if she had some before and after photos from students who have taken her program. I mean, the difference is night and day for some of these sellers. This is one of our students. Absolutely beautiful transformation. I've complimented Amy's photos before when we do shop critiques because I think that they're so well balanced. So some fantastic before and afters. The link to join the Light Challenge is down below. I'm not getting paid to recommend Light, so please consider using my link just so Christina knows how many people are coming from the Alpha YouTube channel, so we can track you guys. There is a link down below, or you can just directly type in the URL here, bychristinanichole.com/light/alphas. And the last thing that I wanted to mention is that I am back, baby, at Amplified 2025. This year, I am not flying to Riga. Unfortunately, I will be doing a virtual session because I have not fully recovered from my pneumonia that I got during last year's Amplified flight. So I've decided to do it virtually. However, I will be speaking. There will be tons of giveaways. I will be talking about trend research. They're doing an art versus science theme this year. Obviously, I'm on Team Science. So we will be talking about trend research, and that's applicable even if you don't sell print on demand. So if you want a free ticket, the link to claim that is down below. We do have a competition with some of the other influencers to see who can send the most signups. I won last year. I sent more people than even some of the big influencers. So it would mean the world to me if you guys signed up for your free ticket so we can do it again. But that's it. Mr. Moore, what important thing did you have?
Oh, can you scoot that way so I can actually be on screen for this part of it? Cool. Yeah, okay. So unfortunately, where'd my phone go? There it is. Ugh. Rather political topic. I hate talking about it, but unfortunately the news did break today. De minimis exceptions. Some people are about to learn the hard way that the customers pay the tariffs, not the companies, because that's about to happen. De minimis, for those of you who do not know, was an exemption that allowed imports under $800 to be duty and tax free. So they did not pay anything on that. As of August 29th, that's going away. That sucks. However, if you are a seller who buys resources from out of country, you are now going to pay a tariff. That will go between 10 and 50%. For those of you who sell from outside of the United States, if you have a tariff on your country, you will not be paying that tariff. I know a lot of people here in the US like to say that it's the people selling to the US. That's not how tariffs work. The customer on the US side pays the tariff. So I don't know what Etsy's going to do. I'm assuming by that time they'll figure it out. I'm assuming that they will charge up front for the tariffs. If not, then it's probably going to be a customer service nightmare for those of you who sell from the UK, or I know Australia is a big one. One of the companies that I buy from just announced that I'm going to have to start paying a 50% tariff for the things I buy from them. Customers are going to receive their goods and not be able to claim them until they pay the tariff to USPS, UPS, FedEx, whoever you ship through. Like I said, I hope that Etsy charges up front so it's a little more obvious. If not, a lot of customers are going to be blindsided by the fact. So just keep an eye on what actually is happening. That way, if it does come down to that and Etsy is not charging them, that you are very clear that in the US, XYZ, if you're shopping from here, there, whatever, you're going to have to pay this percentage. So it's going to be up to you to make sure that your customers know that, because you don't want to get blindsided last minute. Like, hey, I bought this $200 item and I have a $100 tariff charge that I have to pay. Why didn't you let me know that that was going to happen? I can already foresee that happening. I hope Etsy takes a stance, and I'm assuming, like most things on this, and again, I don't like being political, but there's no way to avoid this. A lot of the times when it comes down and people start being affected here, and the supporters of this current administration start speaking out about how they're being charged for things, they'll probably reverse this decision. That's how everything else has happened this time around. So we can hope that that's going to be the case. I don't see that being the case this time. They have to make up the money. It's losing money, and the tariffs aren't making them any money. And this is the only way to make the money.
Yeah.
So,
and a lot of people, your customers just might not know, because, depending on what side of the political spectrum they're on, they just might be not, watching both sides and understanding what tariffs actually mean.
Yes.
It's very misleading if you're only following one side to understand what the tariffs mean. For example, my mom had no idea what this meant. What she thought that tariffs meant that the US would be getting more money and charging other countries. And
nope. That's what they've been lying. That unfortunately they've been lying to the right the entire time, saying that's what's going to happen, and that's not what's happening.
Right.
And you can see it. The price of everything is going up as of like 2 days ago. That's the companies that pay the tariffs are going to pass that cost on to you.
Yeah, that's not us being political. This is truth. I mean,
it's a fact. It's a fact. You have ChatGPT, you have Google. That's how tariffs work. It's literally third grade math. So I don't want to get too much more into it. There are forums and things you can do to kind of push ahead of this, but I don't know how any of it applies to Etsy, and I'm not going to pretend like I know. But that's what's happening. August 29th, you guys have a couple of weeks to get stuff prepared. If you're outside of the US, living in a country where tariffs are being charged to, it's up to you. I hate to say that. It's up to you to make sure you're on top of it, because the tariffs are fluctuating depending on where you are. 25% of Etsy's sales are international. Doesn't necessarily mean they all go to the US, but 25% of their sales are international. So quite a few of you, I'm assuming, are going to be affected by it. I love you guys. I wish that we had better news. I wish we didn't have to talk about politics, but unfortunately, politics are coming back to bite a lot of people in the butt. And yeah.
It takes voices to make change, unfortunately. And even, it doesn't matter what side of the political spectrum you're on if you're in the US, whether you're left, right, or center, if this is negatively affecting you, your voice is the most powerful thing that you have right now. So make sure that you use it and be loud and proud about it. Because, it's going to take a lot of voices to educate people about how this isn't, this is impacting small businesses. So again, we hate bringing things like this up, but this is directly affecting you guys.
And just remember, and you guys are going to see a lot of this, and this isn't me telling anybody to vote any one particular way, but not only are you guys going to be paying more in the tariffs, but let's assume that a company has a 50% tariff. They're not going to pass a 50% on to the consumer. They're going to pass like a 65% onto the consumer and use it as an opportunity to make more profit. So make sure you guys are paying attention. Make sure you guys are educating yourselves, and make sure you guys are speaking out. Make sure you vote with common sense. We love you guys. Again, I hate having to end a video on this kind of note, but this is going to affect literally everyone. If you're the US seller, it won't affect you that much, assuming that nothing you buy supply-wise comes from China, but let's be real, a majority of supplies come from outside of the US, so pretty much everybody's going to be affected by this. Yeah. Let me see if we had any questions.
Well, I did want to point out, Michael had asked about if there was any news for the Alpha Holiday Boot Camp. Yes, Alpha Holiday Boot Camp will be taking place from September 8th through... Let me pull up the calendar here.
Yep.
September 8th through September 14th. Handmade Alpha Academy students, you guys get it for free every single year, so do not buy it when it goes up for sale. Enrollment for the Alpha Holiday Boot Camp will begin on Thursday, September 4th. And on that day, and only on that day, you can get it for $60. That is the only day that you can get it for that price. That is our early bird pricing. Mark that date on your calendars. I'll send emails. I will post on all my social medias. If you're not on my email list, sign up for any of the free resources I've got down below, my free ebooks, Etsy SE Oodles. Sign up for any of those things and you'll get an email about the boot camp when it opens so that you don't miss out. September 5th and 6th, that price will go up to the normal general admission price, which is $100. So that will be the normal pricing. By the time we do the Friday Bean that week, it'll already be up to $100. So you want to make sure that, you're setting a reminder for that Thursday the 4th if you want the discounted day. And then Sunday is the last day to enroll. That will be Sunday, September 7th. The price will go up to $120 because those extra $20 increments per enrollment will be going directly to St. Jude Children's Hospital. We do that every single year. It's like a penalty, but for a cause. So we're promoting the scarcity like psychology tells us to do, but we donate all of that money. So, and then the boot camp will begin on September 8th. You will get a new video every single day for the boot camp for 1 week. We are still doing like the Canva templates and all that I've done in the previous years, but the rest of the boot camp is going to be new. You guys are going to be getting a bunch of resources to help you with data and tracking and eRank and Etsy SEO and Google Analytics. We're getting really down and dirty with the data this year, changing things up, whereas the past years have all been about social media marketing. This year, you'll still get that first day of social media marketing and, templates and things, but the rest of the time, it's going to be all data nitty gritty, because we are directly working with eRank this year for the boot camp. It's going to be eRank is the theme of this year's boot camp. So if you hate eRank, the boot camp this year might not be for you.
All right, guys, it's 1:49. We have other stuff we've got to do.
I got to record still.
You've got to record, and I've got my thing coming out in 20 minutes. So I love you guys. We'll see you on Tuesday for a new video and next Friday for another live stream.
See you guys.
Bye, guys. Bye. Yeah, I hated having to go in.